Cartethyia is not a character defined by noise. She does not enter the story with explosive energy or overwhelming spectacle. Instead, her presence feels distant, ancient, almost mythological. In a world already shaped by catastrophe and strange phenomena, Cartethyia represents something even older, something that feels less like a person and more like a remnant of forces that existed long before modern civilization tried to rebuild itself. Some characters fight to protect the present, others study the past to understand it. Cartethyia feels like the past itself, walking quietly through the present, and that alone makes her one of the most mysterious figures in the world of Wuthering Waves. At first glance, Cartethyia appears calm and distant. Her demeanor is composed, almost detached from the urgency that drives most of the people around her. While others react emotionally to threats or discoveries, Cartethyia often seems to observe events with a quiet patience. This distance creates an immediate sense of mystery. She does not behave like someone fully grounded in the concerns of the present day. Instead, her perspective feels broader, almost timeless. Characters who carry this kind of presence often exist at the intersection of history and myth. They move through the world with knowledge that others have yet to uncover, revealing pieces of truth only when the moment demands it. Cartethia fits that archetype perfectly. She's not simply another participant in the events of the world. She feels like someone who has already seen far more than she reveals. One of the defining themes surrounding Cartethia is history. The world of Wuthering Waves is already shaped by the aftermath of the Lament, a catastrophic event that forced humanity to rebuild civilization from the ruin. But the deeper one looks into the lore of this world, the more it becomes clear that the Lament was not the beginning of its mysteries. There were forces and civilizations that existed long before it. Echoes of those forces remain scattered across the landscape, and Cartethia seems deeply connected to those echoes. Her existence hints at a deeper layer of history that the current generation is only beginning to understand. She represents the idea that the past is never truly gone. It lingers, it shapes the present in subtle ways, and sometimes it returns in unexpected forms. Another interesting aspect of Cartethia's personality is her emotional distance. Where characters like Encore experience the world with explosive enthusiasm, Cartethia approaches it with quiet contemplation. This difference in perspective likely comes from experience. Someone who has witnessed the rise and fall of entire eras cannot react to every event with urgency. Time changes how importance is measured. What feels immediate to others may appear temporary to someone who has seen centuries pass. This does not mean Cartethia lacks empathy. Instead, it means her priorities operate on a different scale. She observes patterns that others might miss. She considers consequences that stretch far beyond the present moment, and that perspective allows her to navigate situations with unusual calm. Cartethia's design and abilities carry strong symbolism connected to water and the sea. Water is one of the oldest metaphors in the storytelling. It represents depth, mystery, and constant change. Unlike stone or metal, water never remains fixed. It flows, reshapes landscapes, and gradually transforms everything it touches. This symbolism aligns perfectly with Cartethia's character. Like the ocean, she feels vast and difficult to fully understand. Her surface may appear calm, but beneath it lies immense depth. The ocean also carries the idea of memory. Every river eventually flows into it, carrying traces of the world it passed through. In the same way, Cartethia seems to carry the memory of events long forgotten by others. She becomes a living archive of history, one that cannot be easily read or understood. One of the most compelling aspects of Cartethia is that much of her identity remains intentionally unclear. Stories often use mysterious characters to represent unanswered questions within the world itself. By withholding complete explanations, the narrative allows curiosity to grow. Cartethia embodies that curiosity. She encourages players to ask deeper questions about the nature of the world they inhabit. Where did the current civilizations truly come from? What forces existed before the lament reshaped everything? And what secrets remain buried beneath the surface of the world's history? Cartethia does not provide simple answers. Instead, she acts as a doorway to those mysteries. Despite her quiet demeanor, Cartethia carries immense potential power. Characters associated with ancient forces rarely rely on visible displays of strength. Their abilities often feel controlled, precise, and deeply connected to the world itself. Cartethia's combat style reflects this idea. rather than explosive bursts of aggression. Her movements feel deliberate and fluid, like water flowing around obstacles rather than smashing through them. This approach creates a sense that her strength is not something she constantly displays. It is something she allows the world to witness only when necessary, and that restraint often makes power feel even more intimidating. In many stories, ancient figures serve as bridges between eras. They carry knowledge that would otherwise be lost. They remember mistakes that the current generation risked repeating. Cartethyia appears to fulfill a similar role within Wuthering Waves. She represents continuity, the idea that even when civilizations collapse and rebuild, certain truths persist across time. Her presence reminds the world that its history did not begin with the current age. There are deeper stories waiting to be uncovered, and understanding them may be essential to preventing future catastrophes. Another important theme connected to Cartethyia is patience. When someone has existed long enough to witness multiple eras, their relationship with time changes dramatically. Immediate victories and defeats lose some of their urgency. Long term outcomes become more important. Cartethia's calm presence suggests someone who understands the importance of waiting, waiting for the right moment, waiting for the right people, waiting for events to unfold in ways that reveal hidden truths, and patience becomes her greatest strength. Because while others rush to react, she observes, and observation often leads to deeper understanding. Cartethia ultimately represents something larger than any single character. She embodies the memory of the world itself, the idea that beneath every city, every battlefield, and every discovery lies a deeper history that still influences the present. Characters like Baiji study the world through research, others like Changli guide its future through strategy. Cardathia exists somewhere in between. He carries the past into the present, ensuring that the lessons of history are never completely forgotten. Cartathia is not the loudest presence in Wuthering Waves. She does not dominate scenes with dramatic speeches or overwhelming emotion. Instead, she moves quietly through the story like a distant tide, ancient, patient, and full of secrets. He reminds the world that history never truly disappears. It lingers beneath the surface, shaping the present in ways most people never notice. And sometimes, when the moment is right, that history rises again, not as a memory, but as something living, something watching, something waiting.